So Kaspa is finally back at 19 cents once again. Could this be your last chance to buy Kaspa at a reasonable price? In today's video, we're going to look at the short-term and the long-term price potential for Kaspa, as well as altcoin season and when you can expect the next altcoin season pump to begin. But first, let's briefly cover why I think Kaspa is such a great crypto. First and foremost, it's revolutionary technology, right? Kaspa has some of the best technology in the entire crypto space. It's a proof of work currency. It's actually the fastest proof of work currency in the world right now. Comparing Kaspa's capabilities to all of these other popular proof of work currencies, you can see it is basically rivaling them or doing better than all of these other coins. And you can see it's fairly launched, no pre-mine, no ICO. The only other coin that has this is Bitcoin itself, and this ensures that there's no insider dumps and ensures that the price is very organic. If we compare Kaspa to a coin like XRP, you guys can read these bullet points here, but basically Kaspa is much better in terms of purely its technology than a lot of your other cryptos out there. Some more catalysts for Kaspa are the fact that Kaspa has a really strong community, as well as the fact that Kaspa is currently still not listed on a lot of your tier 1 exchanges like Coinbase, like Binance, like Crypto.com. They all still have not listed Kaspa yet, and a lot of this is due to the fact that it was a fairly launched coin, so there was no pre-allocation to these exchanges. So these exchanges actually have to buy Kaspa on the open markets, and that's a really bullish thing for crypto. And Kaspa is also under development still, right? It still has a lot coming in this roadmap. Currently, you can see these are some of the things that have been completed so far, but you can see there's still things under development. Dagchain is still under development. You had hard fork to 10 BPS is still in testing phase, as well as node improvements is still under development, and then smart contracts under planning. Before we jump into the long-term price predictions, I want to cover the short-term Kaspa chart, and this chart is looking really beautiful right now. As you guys can see, we recently did have this pump all the way up to about 18 cents, and since then we've kind of consolidated a little bit, and right now what we're really aiming at is this yellow line right here. This was the previous all-time high of around 20-21 cents in that zone, and we are very likely going to retest that zone in the next couple of days. If Bitcoin continues bullish momentum, if your altcoins continue on their bullish momentum as they have been, then we can very well expect Kaspa to retest this yellow line at this 20-cent range. If altcoins make one more last rally before the end of the year, we can definitely see a Kaspa new all-time highs by the end of the year. The Kaspa chart is one of the best looking charts in all of crypto in my opinion. I've said this in many videos. You can see these perfect flag patterns going into breakouts, and that's exactly what's happening right now into this one last breakout into new all-time highs. If we were to get a next leg up for Kaspa, if all of your altcoins start pumping and Kaspa does make that next leg up, where can I see Kaspa landing? Well, if we just do a quick fib retracement from the swing high to the swing low, then I can expect anything from 27 cents to about 37 cents. Most likely in this 27 cent range, right? If we make that next leg up, I can definitely see 27 cents by the end of 2024. That is going to be my price target. Now, in order to figure out when our altcoins like Kaspa will pump, we need to take a look at Bitcoin dominance, which is the chart I have pulled up right now. This chart is a little bit messy, as you guys can see, but I promise it'll make sense once I explain it. And this I actually perfectly predicted a couple of months ago, back in May. I predicted a December 2024 Bitcoin dominance all-time high peak, which is basically exactly what we got, right? We got this all-time high peak. Actually, it was in November, so I was 2 weeks off, but close enough. So we got this peak, and right now is altcoin season, right? We've been in altcoin season for about 2 weeks now. Is this the full euphoric phase of altcoin season? No, right? This is just the beginning of altcoin season, but these next couple of months, guys, are going to be pretty insane, right? If I were you, I would get into your positions as soon as possible, right? We don't know if we're going to see these prices again, to be honest. So any opportunities right now, any dips, right? I would jump at those opportunities. Every single time Bitcoin dominance falls, that shows a weakness in Bitcoin and a strength in altcoins. So that is exactly what you're seeing right now. That's what you've seen every single cycle. Back in 2021, we also saw a peak of Bitcoin dominance around December, and then we saw it drop off all the way until May. So based on this, we can say the first leg of altcoin season is going to be from December to May. Will that be the same case this year? Will we see December to May 2025 as the altcoin season? That very well might be the case. Maybe it ends a month sooner, maybe it ends a month later and stretches out into June, who knows? But what is guaranteed is the next couple of months are going to be pretty crazy. Now, what's going to be happening with Bitcoin dominance in the short term and with the price of altcoins like Kaspa in the short term? Well, this is what these lines are for right here. You can see this is the weekly chart, and we have 3 massive red weekly close candles, right? So we have 3 red candles to the downside, and this line right here, this is actually the 55-week exponential moving average. And if this candle, this current candle, closes below this moving average, then we can expect another candle to close below this as well, and we can expect more downside to altcoins. And that looks like it's going to be the case for this next week, right? We get this close below this line, then that's going to be a signal that we're going to get another candle that probably closes around the bottom of this line, which is the 200 EMA. And what does that mean? That means Kaspa is going to shoot up and break this yellow line, break its all-time high, head to 27 cents. If we get another red candle weekly close on Bitcoin dominance, we're going to see new all-time highs for Kaspa. One last chart I want to look at is this others.d chart. This tracks the market cap of all of your cryptos other than the top 10 cryptos. So basically all of your mid to low cap altcoins. And if you guys can look at this chart, you can see we are pumping, right? We have gone from 9% all the way to 12%. And this yellow line is going to be that first take profit area for me, right? Whenever we get close, dangerously close to this yellow line, that is going to signal to me that altcoin season is starting to come to a close, right? Start taking your profit out of your positions, because things can get pretty crazy. Altcoins can drop like an absolute rock, right? Altcoins usually drop 80, 90, 95% in the bear markets. So you do not want to get caught up in that. You do not want to get caught holding the bags. So please, please, please take profits. And I will be covering my take profit plan all throughout the bull run. So I talk about take profit for Kaspa, right? I mean, right now, that's nowhere near my mind, right? I'm not even thinking about where that peak of Kaspa is going to be. I'm just focused on these next few months. But if we take a look at history, if we take a look at last cycle, let's just take a look at a layer 1 like Solana, right? Kaspa is a layer 1, Solana is a layer 1. These are similar enough in my opinion. Solana was one of the top layer 1s last cycle, and it was a new layer 1, right? It was its first cycle. This is also Kaspa's first cycle. So I think Solana and Kaspa are somewhat comparable. If we take a look at Solana, this first white line I have right here is first peak, right? This is when Solana initially peaked, and this was back in May of 2021. So this will be the equivalent of May 2025 for this cycle. And this actually started, this run-up started back in January. So hey, right, this January 2025, could we see the start of a massive, massive rally for coins like Kaspa, right? That very well might be the case. And this run topped off basically around April and then extended to May. So April to May, right? Maybe April to May 2025, that could be that first top. Now, Solana last cycle also did something extremely interesting. As you guys can see, right after this peak in June, it had a massive drop, right? A lot of your altcoins, basically all of your altcoins dropped a lot. How much did Solana drop? Dropped about 60%. So during the middle of a bull run, you can expect altcoins to correct up to 60, maybe even 70 or 80%, right? These are actually normal corrections in the peak of a bull run. So if I were you and I were to try to maximize my gains, right? I would sell when we have this initial run up, sell up to this run up, and then buy back when eventually we dip, possibly in the summer. So for something like Kaspa, right? If Kaspa runs up in, let's say, early 2025, let's say January, February, March, Kaspa has a massive run up, I would start DCAing out, right? Maybe we hit April, and then you've already DCA'd out 80% of your Kaspa, and then we get that massive drop. Then we consolidate for a little bit, and then you find your opportunity to buy back in. And eventually, what's going to happen is we get peak number 2, right? Peak number 2 in 2021 happened in November. We had a run up in August and September, right? Had a little bit of a cool off, and then blow off top in November. this could very well happen for coins like Kaspa, right? Solana was very, very bullish last cycle. I think Kaspa is going to be very, very bullish this cycle. This usually happens with extremely, extremely bullish coins. You see the second peak be a lot larger than the first peak. And yeah, this happens to your most bullish coins. I think Kaspa is definitely one of them. So this November 2021 is going to be that second blow off top peak. And then after that, right, please sell, right? I would not hold any crypto past 2025, right? 2026 is going to be a extreme bear market for not only crypto, but for stocks as well. Let's actually take a look at another layer one just to have more context, right? Just to see what Kaspa can potentially do this cycle. This is Cadena. This is another proof of work layer one, kind of similar to Kaspa. And this was a coin that was around last cycle in 2020 and 2021. And as you guys can see, April 2021 is where we had this first peak, this small peak in Cadena. And then we had a cool off, right? Cool off of around 50, 60, 70%. And then in November of 2021, once again, we had this peak, this blow off top, right? So these layer ones, these top layer ones seem to have two peaks. They seem to have a smaller peak in April or in the spring, and then a larger peak, blow off top in late November, or basically end of the year. So can Kaspa have this similar pattern where it peaks in, let's say, March, April, or May of 2025, has a 50, 60, 70% retracement, and then blow off top in November of 2025, right? That could very well happen. I would definitely be open to that possibility, but you also have to realize, right, not all bull runs are the exact same, right? Although this cycle has had its time frames line up basically exactly the same as this last cycle that we had in 2021, that might not be the case going into 2025, right? So we have to be open to multiple possibilities, but the most likely possibility is that Kaspa is going to have a run up in early 2025. So be ready for that. Be ready to have a take profit plan, DCA your way out, and that's going to ensure that you are successful in this cycle. Even if we get a drop and then a blow off top later, you position yourself ideally for both scenarios. That's enough talking from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like. And just as a side note, I did launch a Patreon. It's in the link in the description below. And if you want to join, you can get private Discord access as well as all of these other benefits. Let me know what other videos you want to see, and I'll talk to you guys later.